I have not once, since I have started this channel, I have not once, at least that I can recall, started the post game before the game's even over. There's a minute left, so whoop-de-fucking-do, because who knows what could happen in a minute, right? All it takes is one goal. I've just fucking had it, man. I've just had it with the same exact bullshit. I've had it. I don't know where you want me to start tonight. Really don't, because there's a laundry list of problems from tonight's game. So where do you want to start? This is the first time I openly laughed my ass off at my team's performance. That goal 26 seconds in had me dying of laughter. Because we see a report right before the game that Igor Shesterkin might get $11.5 million and then lets in that goal. And I'm not saying this is entirely on him. And listen, as much as I like to throw jabs anytime he does let in soft goals, this was not his fault entirely. He did not play good. I mean, there's no two ways around it. He did not play good. But he wasn't fucking great. I mean, he wasn't good at all, but far from the issue. I can tell you that. But I openly laughed my ass off watching this team play tonight. Because it's the same crap, man. I'm sorry, but these are the reasons why I'm not convinced when they're beating the Bridgeport Islanders 5-2 and they're getting goals off their asses, getting goals off skates, getting empty net goals. This is why I'm not celebrating and running in the streets when they get those wins. This is why I'm not ready to party when Igor Shesterkin's freaking stealing wins against the Ottawa Senators. This is why. And these aren't even the good teams this isn't even a good team you're playing. You played the Buffalo Sabres, man, and Jordan Greenway scoring goals and laughing in your damn face while doing it. This is the type of game you need to look at yourself in the mirror and ask, who the fuck are we? Because this team has no identity at all. Their identity, to me, when I watch, is they spend most of the game playing lazy and whining to the refs most of the game. Capo Caco clearly takes a holding penalty in the corner in the offensive zone nonetheless, and here he is whining to the official about it. As much as I hated Gerard Gallant, he was right about that. This team has a knack for whining to the officials more than getting their fucking head on a swivel and playing the damn game. I will not take any spin tonight about the record. Will not take any spin about how they played the first few games, about the President's Trophy last year. I will hear none of that tonight. And if you are looking to make excuses for this team, then this isn't the live stream for you, and go watch a different stream. Go find a different post game. Go do whatever you want with the rest of your night. I'm not here for that tonight. Because this is just fucking disgraceful. What they're doing. Ryan Lindgren needs to be fired into the sun by a cannon head first. I'm tired of the whole thing. He's the Jeff McNeil of the Rangers, dude. Everybody's holding on to what he was when he was first called off. Enough. This team has got worse defensively since he has returned to the lineup. Enough. I don't care about the Warrior shit, how he plays through injuries, blocks shots, which he doesn't do that anymore. I don't care. Do not care. I said it on draft night. There was no reason for him to not be traded. Now what are you doing? Because what's the value? Is there any? Probably not. And then Keandre Miller's losing himself money. I mean, Chris Drury will probably hand him money anyway because that's just what he does. But what the hell was he doing tonight? The two of them in particular really drove me insane. But the guy that needs to be really targeted for constructing or for orchestrating a lot of this crap is Mika Zibanejad. And I don't care about the counting numbers. You could take those counting numbers, stick them right up your fucking tuchus for all I care. Because they change every single line at 5-on-5 pretty much, except for the fourth line, because of his poor performance. And what do you know? The 5-on-5 offense, where did it go? Where did it go? I mean, it also disappeared because they're not playing. I mean, Buffalo's not a great team, but it also disappeared because of the fact that it's obvious that it was going to regress at some point, but it got worse because you had to make line changes due to your number one center making $8.5 million on a no move clause for the next 5-6 years, whatever the hell it is. Because of that guy, you have to throw the lines in a blender, mix it all up, and try to get something going. And then how about the power play? How about the power play? Why is the second unit look better than the first unit these days? Anyone wondering? Also, crazy concept. You put Zach Jones on the power play and it works? Never would have guessed that one. Never would have believed that in my life. I am stunned that a puck-moving defenseman playing on the power play works. You threw the lines in a blender. The coach has said to our faces they need to play better defensively for 2 weeks now. The leadership group, leaders, and the players on the team have said we need to be better in front of our goalie numerous times. So now what? What happens now? Because I've not seen any visible improvement. The only difference is you got your ass handed to you tonight versus the previous games where you snuck by with some wins. So what's the plan now? Because I'm not seeing Laviolette having any answers either. He does not get a pass at all right now for me. And I am beyond just blaming the coach, and it is completely on the players right now. But Laviolette's not doing any favors right now because he was brought in here to hold guys accountable and to put guys on the bench when they need to be put on the bench. Mika Zibanejad needs to sit on the bench. Ryan Lindgren needs to sit on the bench. Keandre Miller needs to sit on the bench, and none of those guys are being held accountable. It's bad when the defenseman behind behind Zach Jones that I might be the least mad at tonight is Jacob Trouba. Not that he was good at all. Actually, Braden Schneider, but you get the point that Adam Fox played terrible too. I mean, what do you want me to say about Adam Fox? He's looking terrible, but it was just an injury in the playoffs last year, I was told. I haven't seen him do much impressive this season thus far. This is a personnel problem. This is a coaching problem. This is a problem bleeding through. And I don't care for 1 second about the record. I just don't. Because anybody with a pair of eyeballs could tell you right now that this is not good enough and that their record should not be where it is. Anyone that has watched the game, played the game, whatever, to any sort of degree, I could tell you right now, could say the same exact thing, that this record is not reflecting the play on the ice. They got their ass handed to them in every single facet of the game. I mean, Couldn't win a board battle tonight. I mean, what's new there? Couldn't break the puck out. What's new there? This team plays slow. I mean, watching them move the puck up the ice makes my eyeballs bleed. They are terrible at forechecking. They don't know what forechecking is. And then when they do attempt the forecheck, they're taking penalties. You have Sam Carrick being a fucking dope and taking a penalty. You have Chris Kreider in the neutral zone throwing the body for once in his damn life. Oh, what do you know? A boarding penalty. I don't know what the coaching sees in these lines. And you have the media who is gassing up the fact that the lines worked against the Islanders. I don't know what anyone sees in these lines, but they got to put it back to what it was. And I don't know if it's going to work, but it's better to try it at this rate than constantly accommodating your 8.5 center who isn't getting the job done. If he's not getting the job done to the point where you have to juggle the lines constantly, then he should be sitting. Because it's unrealistic to trade him. I'm not going to sit here and shout about that because I understand that it is not realistic. But stapling him to the bench or stapling him in the press box for a game, that could do something at least. That's realistic at the very least. The only guys that showed me any sort of quality play tonight were Zach Jones and Will Cooley. That's about it. The list ends there because I didn't see it from anyone else tonight. I just didn't. They resorted to the kid line in the third period. That's how down bad we were. Zero accountability from this organization. Zero. As I'm saying that, Meek is a badge ad. There's no excuses for what happened tonight. Okay. Okay. I'm glad that the guys that wear letters on this team send such a great message to the locker room. And then how about Jacob Trouba too, by the way, when they were down like 5-0, getting ready to get into a scrum with someone. Like, you're such a fake tough guy out there, man. Like, do something when it's clear as daylight your team's playing like steaming hot ass. But you got to mix it up with the Buffalo Sabres because that will send a message. Not what you say in the locker room. A little scrum with Zach Benson, of all people. I don't know who exactly it was, but regardless, you get the point. I'm livid. I'm just livid because of the fact that I'm coming on here on a nightly basis saying the same exact thing. And then it's even worse when they get their ass handed to them by Buffalo. But supposedly I'm a fake fan that doesn't care because I would come on here, watch all 60 minutes of every game, and lose my mind for absolutely nothing. No, would never be a real fan. I'm just drained. Just drained. Because when I watch this team, I don't see any qualities. They don't show me one quality that a cup team has. They win games. Great. Every team in this league wins games. They win a lot of games. Great. But I don't see the attributes outside of the first like few games against Pittsburgh and Detroit. Outside of that, I don't see qualities of a Stanley Cup team right now. And I get that it's November and you don't have to see cup qualities now, but there's got to be something. There has to be something. Because what are we spending $150 to go to the fucking building for? So we could watch great goaltending, I guess? Well, we didn't even get that tonight. What are we doing spending $150 just to get a ticket to go to games? Not including getting to the game, not including food and beverages. Oh, yeah, you could get your Chase card discount, though. What are we doing spending $150 to go to games right now? To watch the same product? To the casual fan, sure. Sure, this is appealing because they win games. Sure. To me, I'm not spending $150 for this crap. I'm not. Could tell you that. And this is from someone that went to a shit ton of games last year. You guys know this. Shit ton of games for the past few seasons. I finally got myself to stop going. Stop going. Because I'm not spending $100 to watch this crap. Over $100. Well over. To watch this shit. I'm just not. I already know that a lot of people are going to be saying that this is an overreaction stuff. I anticipate that this is going to be a negative reaction to some and that the comments aren't going to love what I'm saying tonight. I already know. I know the deal. But I can't sit here and just pretend that everything's all sunshine and rainbows and everything's going to be all right. I'm not going to run away from how I feel. I'm just not. And this is just holding back on, like, this is me holding back. There are nights I hold back from things that I want to say. There are times I hold back, and this is one of the nights where I'm being a little more open with how I feel about this team, but I'm still holding back a bit because that's just what I do at this point, because I know the reaction's not going to be popular with a lot of people. I do like to give you guys how I truly feel, but I do want to, of course, I try my best to at least stay somewhat dialed back. I shouldn't say level-headed because that'd be a lie. I try to stay somewhat dialed back at times because I don't want to just be someone that's a mouthpiece of spewing negative energy, and because that's what people say. I mean, but I don't want to sit here and spew complete garbage, but this is the product that they're giving us, man. It's at a point where it's all I could do and say. It's all I could talk about. It's an unwatchable product. If somebody could enlighten me what they enjoy watching about this team right now, would love to hear. I would love to hear what they're seeing from this team that is getting them to gravitate towards spending $150 to go, or just in general, like, get on their feet when they score a goal. Jump off your sofa. I haven't jumped off the couch in a while. I haven't jumped off the couch in a very long time. There's really nothing right now. This is why when the offseason came and went, this is why when the deadline last year came and went, I was so aggravated. Because something had to change. Something had to give. Especially more so the offseason. And most of my worries from the offseason are translating to the ice right now. It's really not translating at all. Or a lot of it is translating, I should say, with my worries going into the season. The not moving Ryan Lindgren, not telling Jacob Trouba, quit your whining, we're trading you either way. Adam Fox, I didn't have 100% worries of. I'm not going to sit here and say that. But I was a little worried from what we saw in the playoffs. And, I mean, right now, I'm not seeing anything good. Keandre Miller, I expected some sort of step forward from. Seeing literally nothing. If anything, I'm seeing a huge step backwards at this point. My worries with Zibanejad only are getting amplified at this point because he somehow looks worse as well. My worries with Sam Carrick, he's starting to look more human or more like Sam Carrick. I mean, pretty much every single worry I had this offseason is coming to fruition at this point. That's what's really getting me the most aggravated. And I don't know why I'm cutting corners and everything, but I sit on the couch and I'm not emotionally invested right now. That's how sad that is. Like, it's sad. It's sad to me. Because I'm someone, when I'm watching the Mets, I'm jumping off the couch, going crazy when they're getting big hits, going crazy from a big home run. Even some clapping, some cheers at least. When I watch the Rangers play, I don't have any reaction right now. One way or the other. When they're scored on, what are you going to do? When they score, great. But play better. I've ranted. I've raved. I've not got to the comments yet, which I'm sure is full of a lot of different opinions right now. Some probably agreeing, some probably disagreeing. I'm not saying you have to agree with me. I really don't care if you don't agree with me. Again, don't watch if you don't. If you really hate my opinion that much, don't watch. I'm not your guy. I'm just not your guy in the slightest. And it is what it is, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everything's fine because of the record. Chassis has an off night. The defense exposed. They've given up on the coach. If they've given up on the coach, then Drury has to give up on the core. And Chris Drury needs to go. Chris Drury needs to go. I've had it with this guy. I have fucking had it with him. If he has another dud of a deadline, and he's back next year, I'm going to be very disappointed. There is something seriously wrong with this team, Richard. Garbage game. Wonder if they gave out free food in the third. They should have. Probably not. If anything, they probably jacked the prices up, but they should have. Could tell you right now that if I was a casual fan, I would have hopped my happy ass out of that building and went on over to Times Square to grab some food for the third period. If I was a casual fan, but the sucker I am, I would have stayed for this entire freaking game. Greenway laughing in the Rangers' faces. Yes, team plays with no aggression. Fox, $9.5 million mistake. Norris fraud. Miller doesn't know the position, period. I can't disagree with anything you're saying tonight, man. Are we surprised this happened? This team needs to be caved in game after game to force Drury to do something. And the idiot he is going to sit on his hands. Oh, you don't know more than the GM. Right, because I forgot you have to be a general manager to critique a GM's skill. Right, forgot about that. Because I can't go to a restaurant, and if the waiter is giving me bad service, I can't say that they're doing poorly at their job because of the fact that, yeah, I've not been a waiter. So, right, I can't critique what the GM's doing. I've never been in that position. You got me. You guys got me. I'm pre-arguing with myself at this point because I'm pre-arguing because I just know at this point. And this is just me spiraling. This is just me getting the anger out. Jack Roslovic. Yeah, Jack Roslovic performing well. Jack Roslovic. Lindgren needs to be traded now, yeah. Everything we talked about your last podcast holds true, especially with the leadership group is soft and weak and capable of winning a cup as currently built, and it sucks to say that. Pretty much everything we talked about dating back to July, Anthony. Dating back to July. Dating back to May, when they were getting roundhouse kicked by Florida. Back to 2023, when they were getting manhandled by New Jersey. Right. By the way, too, didn't they tell us that they would have more urgency after they lost to Tampa the first year and that it was a learning experience? Then the next year they followed up and lose to New Jersey. Learning experience. We'll be better. We learned a lot. And then they get kicked, their ass handed to them by Florida. Oh, well, we learned. We'll be better. Not seeing any of it. Not seeing any of it. Tell me how Laviolette gives Laffy 2 shifts in the third, but doesn't bench Zibanejad or Kreider because there's no accountability here. That's the problem, Greg. There's no accountability. And this has been the ongoing issue for a while now with this team. They better get bag skated tomorrow. I could tell you that for free. And they probably will. But I don't anticipate it mattering at this rate. Maybe it gets them to beat Detroit again for the third time, though. Maybe. Maybe they beat Detroit again. Which, if that's the case, let's all book the parade. So lazy, no urgency, not winning board battles, not playing physical. The list goes on. Pretty much, yeah. This team is awful. I'm happy. Finally, the roster will be changed. Will it, though? Mike Keenan would have challenged the offsides. If you guys don't want to play, why should I coach? I said this to my brother when they challenged it. I didn't say the Mike Keenan part. I said, though, why are you challenging this? Because if they don't want to play, don't coach. Don't coach. I didn't even think of that with Mike Keenan. I literally said that, though, when that happened. And I forgot to even mention that. So thank you for reminding me. But I said that exact thing when it happened. If they're not going to play, then don't coach. Don't. At most, tap the back of their jerseys to tell them who's going out there next shift. Did Laviolette lose the locker room? I think the leadership just sucks. I think it just sucks. And I'm not happy with Laviolette in the slightest right now, but this goes beyond Laviolette. This goes way beyond Laviolette. That was a masterpiece of how to not play hockey. You said it. Yeah. Something is seriously wrong. I don't know what. I mean, they just are not playing good in any area of the ice. That's really all it is. I mean, there's no cutting around corners on this one. There's no putting it lightly, sugarcoating it. They're not even doing well in the power play right now. That is the reason it looks uglier than it has in the past few years, is that their special teams is regressing from the previous few years. That's why it's more noticeable. And it's the only reason it's not as bad is because, one, you have Igor, and two, they got off to a very hot start, 5-on-5 offensively, and that lasted shorter than May. So, I don't know what to tell you. Lindgren was looking like he was in space floating, needs to be traded now. I don't know, a freaking box of hockey pucks at this point. I don't know. He needs to be scratched. He needs to. Soft, passive, lazy in their lack of identity. The Rangers' DNA we've seen the last few coaches. No accountability. They could not even start a scrum to change momentum. No, why do that? That was the quietest I've heard that building. I can't blame fans, by the way, for not cheering. I'm not putting this on the fans. But it's just a testament to how dog shit this team was tonight. Yeah, Rostovic has 8 goals. Yeah. Great. Yeah. I don't understand why the second unit got little to no ice time. Makes no sense. How about forechecking in the ozone, winning some battles on the boards anywhere on the ice? Seemed like they took the extra day off. They don't know what forechecking is, Jim. They don't know what it is. And yeah, we're going to hear the same crap in the post game. Going to hear the same crap. If Jones is scratched next game, at that point, I will... I don't know. At that point, I will not blame anyone for saying they want Laviolette fired. I don't care. I'll say it. And this is it, yeah. This is the type of game that shows you this D-core is not good enough. And anyone that watched what the Florida Panthers did to the Rangers last year could have told you this D-core is not good enough. Yippee, guys. They played a solid third period, though. They played decent in the third. I have bad news for you, Tiffany. I have unfortunate news for you. They're not going to be scratched. Gavin, it is so frustrating how Mika somehow shut down the 2 best forwards on his own team. Yeah, Statboy Steven tweeted that out, and I laughed at that too. Yeah. He did something that not a lot of teams could do. Shut down 2 of their best 5-on-5 players. I give crap to Trouba. To some extent, yeah, I mean, because of him being the captain and needing to step up, yeah. And you have, like Sharp is saying, you had Mika whining about his ice time. I mean, what... When you see stuff like that, how do you not question the leadership group? Like, how do we just brush this under the rug? It makes no sense. Makes no sense. Because if there was... I'm trying to think of a way to correlate this. Brandon Nimmo was in a slump for the entire second half this year. And imagine Carlos Mendoza slotted him down to like 8th or 9th in the lineup during that time. And he's sitting here complaining about not getting enough at-bats. I would tell him to fuck all the way off. But he wouldn't do that because that's not the type of leader he is. When Francisco Lindor struggled for the first half of the season, or the first month, I should say, of the season. We struggled for the first month of the season. All business from the guy. Accountable, holding team meetings that would turn the team around. Meanwhile, this leadership going to the media, whining about ice time. Going to the media, telling us, oh, last year really hurt, and doing nothing to show that there's a difference in this team. See the difference in groups? One that has a winning mentality, one that has accountability within the leadership group. I mean, Jorge Lopez was having a solid season for the Mets, and he gets cut because he throws his glove into the crowd and says something stupid to the media. Gets cut the next day. And I get baseball's different than hockey. Put a guy in the press box. It's just the difference in standards. And the media talked about that, but with Mika Zibanejad, nope. Didn't see anything. Brush it under the rug. No big deal. And yeah, if it isn't a wake-up call, I don't know what is. But it's not going to be a wake-up call because this is what we see every time. If I went to that building tonight, I would be so livid. I would be so livid. There's no way I would go back to the building. And yeah, they couldn't generate a fart tonight. Yeah. Miller needs to be traded, not paid. Get what you can while he has the league bamboozled. I agree. And I see what you guys are saying. It's my platform. Say what you want. I don't know. I try to at least hold it somewhat back a bit. Casuals think we are reacting to a 12-game sample size. No, it's a 6-year sample size of evidence. Get it through your heads. We watch this team and we see no aspects of a cup contender. That is exactly the point that I'm trying to make. And Matt said it perfectly. No, not only accountability, actions are louder than words, and they have never showed action. That too. Glad I could at least get you to relate to that. If Jones is a healthy scratch, I'm going to be out there with the pitchforks and torches with you. Do not expect anything different with Mika and Miller stinking up the place. Richard, I'm accustomed to it at this point. I don't know, because it's November, and I don't know if they will make it or not. I don't know. I'm not there yet, because at the end of the day, I know that Igor is going to cover up a lot of issues. I mean, he's done it for a while now, but I don't know. But do I think they are a quality team, like a playoff level team without Igor? Fuck no. Fuck no, they're not. And yeah, this is it. They have no fundamentals. None. Can't make up for it. Trying to like skip through the chat and see what else there is. There's a lot in the comments, man. There's a lot. VC's been invisible since his return. I've been anti Jimmy VC for a while now. I've been saying that he's a first half merchant. That's what I said about him last year. But I don't see it with VC either. I don't see a fourth liner. I just see a guy. I see a guy who could be a good 13th forward. That's what I see when I look at Jimmy VC. And there's nothing wrong with that because you're not paying him anything crazy, but he is just a body to me. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah. I've been watching for less and it's not good. I'm not saying it's just the head coach's fault. I'm saying this is from This is a entire organization problem. You might want to think twice about that after a game like this. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. If you have a family and you can make the most of a night at the Garden, you do you. I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, but I would at least think twice about it. Could blame Quinn, Gallant, and Laviolette, but the same results keep happening. What's the constant? 3 coaches, though, the players, but God forbid we blame this overrated group that has won nothing. That's why I don't understand. I don't know. I don't understand it either. I really don't. And again, Laviolette is not making me happy, but both can be true that Laviolette is coaching like shit and this team is performing like shit. But this is way more on the players right now. I am excited for pitchers and catchers to report right now. That's where I'm at. And the season just ended a couple weeks ago. And I would rather watch Grant Hartwig bullpen sessions than watch the Rangers play hockey right now. That's where I'm at, truthfully. I would rather watch Dylan Covey throw a bullpen session to the 5th catcher on the team than watch the Rangers right now. I just think VC and Johnny are similar, honestly. They're just guys. Like, to me, they're guys that you put in a pinch. And again, there's nothing wrong with those type of players. There's really nothing wrong. But I think you could do better. Like, we could go. Do we want to go down that rabbit hole? I don't know if we want to go down that rabbit hole. Oh my God. No, I'm not going down that rabbit hole tonight. I'm not doing it to myself. Eric Robinson. When I make the PTO videos, they ask why. They say it's pointless. They say it's stupid. It's a waste. Go look at how my guy, Eric Robinson, E-Rob, is performing. It hurts. Sorry. All right. I had to get that out. I had to. And I agree. If Laviolette goes, that means you are burning this entire thing down to the smithereens. There is no reason for Drury to be here if Laviolette's going. There is no reason for the players to be here. Laviolette is the guy that gets fired if you're burning the whole thing down. That's it. It's exactly the point. Exactly. And I agree with this, Jimmy. I think they'll make it. The question is, will they make noise in it? All right, you said it for me. Why do I talk about 4th liners? Eric Robinson, Danton Heinen, Blake Lizotte, Craig Smith, Yoel Kiviranta. I can't talk, though. I've never been a GM. Cannot talk. I don't know what I'm talking about. Any GMs available? I don't know. But all I know is that if they were to ever bring in a new GM, and honestly, it's probably pointless to talk about after game 12 of the regular season, and I admit that. But I could tell you right now, that if they were to make a GM change, it has to be someone from the outside, because hiring Chris Drury as the GM was honestly a mistake, because you need a guy from the outside that has no ties to these players in any sort of way that will make the moves that this team needs. But again, that's honestly a moot point right now, because there's not going to be a GM change anytime soon. At least within the next few months. I don't know. I could go all night, honestly. I really could. But I'm at a point where I think I'm going to wrap it up. I think I gave my piece a good amount. I think that I ranted enough. I think I did. There will be more to talk about, more to come. It's game 12. But this has a lot of vibes to the vibes that I'm getting right now is the first season after they hired Gerard Gallant, where things just spiraled rapidly with that team. And if they lost that game to the St. Louis Blues, what was it, December of 2022? It might have been. Yeah, when they won 6-4 against the Blues and Jordan Binnington let in soft goals. They were a loss away, and there's been reports that have confirmed it. If they lost that game to the Blues, Gerard Gallant would have lost his job that night. This season thus far has a lot of those vibes right now. And what happened that year? They waited to the playoffs to try to turn it up, and they ended up losing to the Devils, getting embarrassed. This has a lot of similar vibes because they opened up that season, winning a good amount of games, didn't look pretty in them at all. Also got their ass handed to them in a good amount of games. And then once you got to the end of November, the losses really piled up, and they were one loss away from firing Gerard Gallant. Right now, it has a lot of vibes to that season. And I could tell you right now, if that's going to be the pattern every time after the first year under a head coach, I mean, I'm already at the point where players have to go. But if now you're showing it's a pattern, it only backs up even more what I'm saying. I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. And I'm not even doing the outro. I'll see you guys in the next one.